Hello my brothers, this is the Order. Welcome back to the Order. I'm Celtic Templar, and welcome back to another Black History Month video. And today, y'all, we're actually going to be talking about none other than the real Black Panthers, or as they are more commonly known as the 761st Tank Battalion. Now, if any of y'all want to know where the story of these guys actually comes around and why they were actually nicknamed the Black Panthers, it's actually because of their logo type patch, and in such, of the infamous name of what they were known for. In fact, this would be an all-black regiment, and in such, this group would even have the old catchphrase saying, "Come out fighting," which was their famous motto. They were first formed in 1942 at Fort Hood, Texas. They were stated to have first have active combat in 1942, and in such to 1946 in the form of segregated military. However, in 1947 they were reformed into integrated military until 1955. Their most iconic tank that they were known to have used was actually an M5 Stuart tank, up until they later switched them out for said Shermans during the time of the Battle of the Bulge. And as well, they were even assigned to none other than George Patton in 1944, who of which requested for the battalion after hearing about their combat prowess in North Africa. In fact, on a particular date, on November 10th, 1944, near Morneville in Lake Normandy, a said 21-year-old Texan by the name of Sergeant Crecy, or Harding as he was known to his friends, was said to have been scanning the landscape before the German forces opened fire upon them and the Tank Battalion. Crecy was said to have jumped out of his tank while under fire after taking a major hit from an anti-tank round to his Stuart tank. Crecy ran toward a damaged jeep, and such he took up a .50 caliber machine gun and started to let loose upon the German forces while charging toward the anti-tank positions, cutting down each German soldier one after another. After the fighting, it was stated that Sergeant Crecy and his men later took off in another M5 Stuart tank. And while making their way up toward a slope of a hill, it's stated that German forces actually later opened fire again upon them with machine gun fire. Crecy was stated to have calmly ordered the driver to actually back up. The tank was then stated to have fallen right into an anti-tank ditch, leaving the underbelly of the tank exposed to enemy anti-tank shells. Being calm under fire, Crecy requests for assistance to actually tow the tank out, and even while under fire, Crecy exits the tank to hook up the tow, all the while unloading his entire magazine of his Thompson submachine gun on the German forces. Soon after re-entering the tank, Crecy told his men that the enemy can't even shoot for shit. However, soon after speaking this, a German anti-tank gun made its mark on the tank, destroying the tank treads yet again. Soon after this, Crecy mounted the top end of the tank to actually fire the M2 Browning machine gun on a unit of German machine gunners, who of which were attacking a group of American infantry. Crecy even managed to even silence the entire German units, all on his own. But sadly, bad news came for him. While making their way back towards camp, it's actually stated that Crecy's friend, Horatio Scott, had actually been badly injured and would later die due to surgery in the night. Crecy would later request to actually be part of C Company in place of his fallen comrade. It was later in C Company that none other than Sergeant Crecy would actually earn the nickname the Iron Man, or more commonly known as the Black Panther. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this famous soldier was actually later nicknamed the Black Panther, majorly because of his heroic stand. In fact, the Germans nicknamed him this because of his heroic prowess, not just because of the battalion's nickname, or as well from their type of standpoint. But in such, it wasn't just the patch that gave them the nickname, but it was none other than Sergeant Crecy. And it was actually stated that while he actually fought in battle, he was actually stated to have gone berserk on the German forces. His allies even had to pull him off of an MG machine gun after he single-handedly attacked a German position. It was later in 1946 that a German soldier would actually, write a book about Crecy known as the Black Panther. And in such, this book would later on get a little bit of headline news, especially in 1947 and 1950, and in such was even seen in Europe and America. Which, this actually changed the mind of many Americans, so it actually translated more than once. In fact, before anyone starts wondering who these Black Panthers were, these guys were heroic fighters to the very end. And as such, Sergeant Crecy is one of these amazing heroes. However, one of the most other famous type of guys that actually was part of this division would even be none other than Jackie Robinson, who of which even quit his own baseball career to actually be part of this military formation. However, there were a lot more than actually just Crecy or as well Johnson to actually be part of this. There's actually even more famous groups. But the name of Black Panther stuck with Crecy on Germany for one major reason. I'm kind of wondering if this is actually where we actually get the major term of the saying of the Black Panther. So, in other words, Marvel movies don't cut it. But Crecy does, if you ask me. In fact, their major combat record actually goes from Moivik, Vixeria, Molvik, and as well Battle of the Bulge is where they actually earned their extreme title as the major Black Panthers. As well, they would later fight into Central Europe, but pretty much most of their information is still left unknown at that point in time. They would actually receive 300 Purple Hearts, 11 Silver Stars, and 1 Medal of Honor during World War II. However, in 2014, it's actually stated that around 13 to 15 more Medals of Honor were later given to this division, majorly because of their heroic prowess in the battlefield. It's actually stated that these men were such ferocious fighters that they fought tooth and nail against the Germans. And as such, these guys are the real Black Panthers compared to whatever the hell these guys are. In fact, these guys proved something to everyone that they were equal in every right to a white soldier, and as which they proved that. In fact, more than half of these men ended up actually becoming to the rank of lieutenants or even captain. Actually, even given that rank by none other than George S. Patton. Patton even once made his way to these men soon after the Battle of the Bulge, and even told them, "Now don't you dare go and be worried about those bastards that which mock you, or as which, don't even be worried about any of those that which call you names." And such, Patton even stated the following, that any man that which states that these men do not do their part should be as well kick their ass and out of the army. So in other words, Patton had these men's back. And in such, these men actually still hold higher regard for General George S. Patton for his heroic standpoint for them. So you gotta admit that these guys were probably the most badasses in history. So what about in Korea? Did they see combat? Not much evidence is proven, but it is stated though there is a lot of proof that they might have actually done so. However, by this point in time, it was an unsegregated military, which and by far was probably the most prowess type form of these military units. But still, the Black Panthers are still one of the most heroic fighting battalions during World War II, especially for the United States military, of an all-black military unit. And in such, these guys fought ferociously on the battlefield. But there is a lot more than just one man. But in such, I felt like it would be proper for this type of movie or book and such, that of which you should all should actually read. The true Black Panthers is, well, none other than Sergeant Crecy Harding. So in such, I would highly recommend viewing information about him. I will leave links down below. But as which, if y'all have any idea of who of the, well, notorious 761st Division we should actually talk about, please let me know that in the comments below. Because one of the major fact is, there is more than just one version of this heroic soldier. And in fact, Crecy is only a small blink of all those who which fought in the military service. In fact, Crecy may be the real Black Panther, but in such, you gotta admit, there are a lot more of him that of which actually also need that title. And in such, there are also a lot more of them I want to talk about. If any of y'all want me to actually talk about more about them, please let me know in the comments below, as I just stated. But as well, if any of y'all want to know more about this group, and as well Sergeant Crecy himself, I will leave links down below in the description where you can actually find out history about him. And in fact, I extremely recommend taking a look at this video up here from Yarn Hub that actually has an animated video about none other than Sergeant Crecy himself. Anyways guys, this has been Celtic Templar. Hopefully you liked this video, like and subscribe for more, and hopefully see y'all in the next one. Have a great day.